Hello everybody and welcome back. So we're going to continue with this statue, and we finished with poly reduce it, but leaving some more resolution in the face. So I'm going to actually just put down this one a little bit because yeah, this is going to be good enough. So we have 5,000 polygons. It's pretty good for an statue, I would say. You can do it less, of course. But I'm happy with that. So instead of putting this one in here, we're now gonna make sure we have this one instead. So now we have, let's see what we have. So this is the UV map, and this is super fine because this is just going to render out our ambient occlusion map. So if we look here, and I'm going to remove this visualize thing, and I'm going to make another render, see how it looks. So this looks so much better. Wow. I like this a lot. So there are some small issues, right? But this is good enough. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this result, actually. So I'm gonna leave it to that. And what's gonna be important is that in Houdini, well, sorry, in Unity, this one gonna be UV map 1. And we're gonna have UV map 0 to be real world scale. So what do I mean by this? So let's say if we do an auto labs auto UV on this one, right? So if we do like this, and so we are happy with this, and then we have bricks, and the bricks going to be big here. Well, the pattern, that's what I mean. So the pattern, you see the squares here, but maybe that's not really what we want. Maybe this gray 5 block is supposed to be 5 centimeters, and this statue is 2 meters, so it's kind of oversized. So I want this to be 5 centimeters. So let's say if we do a box, and this box is 1 meter, 111, and I'm just going to put it on the ground like this. So if we do this one here, well, actually we do like this, right? So we do this one here. So let's say we do an UV, like UV, let's see, flatten like this. So what you see here, nah, that's not what I want. I want an UV unfold, unwrap. So what you see here, you see one side here is 1 by 1 meter, and 1 by 1 meter should also cover this whole square here. And so we're gonna have scale gonna be none. So now you see that this one is real world scale. So in this UV space, this is 1 by 1. And now we always know if we follow this rule, it's going to be real world texture size. So if we now compare these two, you can see that this one is not the correct size. So we're going to address that and do it procedurally. You could do it like this, UV transform, and have this one. And this is the easy way. you just scale and you scale it. Problem solved. So this is real world scale, but I want to do it procedurally, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if we do like this, if I make a grid, and this grid is going to be 1 by 1 meter. So this is 1 by 1 meter, and we're going to merge this square with the statue. So now you see it has the same resolution. Sometimes it do differ a little bit, but overall this is a good technique. And if we look now, we still have the same issue, right? So if we look on this, you see this square here and all these pieces. But what we do know now, this square is supposed to be 1 by 1, but it's smaller. So what we can do, if we do a wrangler here, so follow me on this one, and I'm just gonna copy the code I made before, so I'm gonna just walk through it. So what I do here, I do this in the detail. So this wrangler gonna calculate scale of offset. So this take vertex 0 and vertex 1, and this is super important what's happening here, because you see vertex 0 and 1 is on the plane, and I know it is on the plane because we merge it in the order. First we have the plane and then we have the statue. So if I would do this, we have the statue first and then we do the grid. Then in this code, vertex 0 and vertex 1 would be somewhere on the statue. So it's important to make sure that we have the grid first. And now when we have vertex 0 and 1, it's really good, because now we know the distance, because this is vertex 0 and the next one is either this one or that one, and it's the same of all the corners. So now we know if we do take the position of this vertex and we calculate the distance, so we calculate the distance in here. So we calculate the distance from this vertex to this vertex, and then we know the difference between a whole unit. So then we just do, we save this distance because we're going to use it later. So this f at is, we save it on the detail. So we have it saved here. So this is the size it is here. And we also remove the prim. So we already know we're going to remove the prim on the first input. And we're going to remove what prim? Well, the first prim, because this is the first prim going in. So that's prim 0. And then we're going to remove all the points on the prim as well. So now we kind of have the detail and we have the scale offset. So now what we want to do here, we want to go over all the vertices. And all the vertices want to divide with this value. So this here is equivalent to write at UV. These two rows is the same stuff. It's just a shorthand to do this. So now every vertex is gonna be scaled. So now you see we scale it up. And now, if we look and compare, you can see they have the same size. So this part here, I'm gonna do scale vertex. So this is, if we do it, I'm gonna explain it one more time. So I do here, I do 1 by 1, and we merge it, and it has to go first, and then we UV map it, and then I calculate how much this plane is in the UV world, and the mismatch, we scale it up or scale it down here. And this is done in vertex, and this one is done in detail. So this is nice, and we can just do box. Well, just do UV, calculate UV here. So this is super nice. We have the UVs here, and we can remove this. So this one is real world scale, and what we want to do now, we also want this one. This one is our ambient occlusion, and we want to save that in UV1. So here we can check in the UVs. We only have UVs. So we're going to do a wrangler here, and in this wrangler, we're going to just make sure that we copy these UV information here as well. So we're going to go, very important, vertices here. And we're going to do V at UV1 is going to be equivalent to vertex, and we want the vertex in the one input. So this is the one input. And what do we want to fetch? Well, we want to fetch the UVs. So the UVs here is named UV. And we also want to know what vertex do we want to pick from. And the geometry information is the same here as here. So it's gonna be the exactly at VTX num. It wants its own vertex ID. So vertex 0 want to pick the vertex 0 information here, and so forth. So now we have the UV one here as well. This is going to be the ambient occlusion, and this is going to be the material. So if we do save to disk, and we go in here, so now if we just make a really simple material shader graph, lit shader graph, and we make a statue, AO, material. Well, actually we could just drag this one on here. And you see it doesn't really work. And the reason it doesn't work is because well, I'm gonna make a, because it's the reason this doesn't work is because this texture is rendered here, and it uses the UV1 space. But when we just drag it like this, it's added to UV0. So we actually do need to make our own material. So we're going to make a material, we're going to make statue ambient occlusion. We're just going to go make sure that we have the texture 2D, AO, we can do it like this. And we're going to do a sample texture 2D. And we're going to have it into the base color. And important, this one needs to be UV1, right? So now it should work for us. So if we go back and check this scene, and we have the material, and we do add the ambient occlusion, You see, we have the ambient occlusion. Super nice. So let's see, we have this one here. We have a really big. Oh. So here we have it. Now we have optimize it. And yeah, we could work even more with ambient occlusion and so forth. But I'm gonna say this is good enough. And you see, we have what's interesting here is that we have saved more resolution in the face than the rest of the body to make the face have better shapes. And well, what we could do, we could go back in Houdini and Maps Baker. We just crank up the texture. And also, so let's see, what do we have here? So if we do a bake again, we did resolution, the double size. I don't see any big difference, but we could also sampling up this one. Oh, we need to do this sometimes to just update it, but you can see if we do the sampling here, we actually, if we look at the resolution here and we do another render, well, there are difference, but I don't see so much difference. Here I see some difference though. Here it's actually doing better work. So that's nice. And I guess if we really want to, we could crank up the resolution on this one, of course. And we could just try how it would be if we take the first one in and see how that turns out. So if we take this one, just take a screenshot of it. And we do another bake. So now we have the original mesh where that has some weird artifacts and stuff, but it's more resolution in the head. So let's do a render. So there are some difference. So if we look here, and if we do, so if you look at in the hair, you can see there are more information in the hair. And also here you can see that the lines is a little bit more. But here you can see it's jagged, a little bit more jaggy. And this is the old one where we smoothed it out, so it's a little bit smoother. Yeah, but you know, it's a lot of tweaking and so forth, and there's a lot of stuff that you could do to make it look better. So, but yeah, so this is what I want to cover. So we have this texture and we have it saved to Unity, and in the next tutorial, I'm actually going to make a shader for this one. So it's going to be a little bit more concrete looky. So if you want to see, let's see, I can show you in the next tutorial. I'm going to make Okay, it doesn't work because I overwritten the ambient occlusion and so forth. But if I do... If I do this one and move it aside, this one should be okay. Yeah. So in the next tutorial, I'm gonna make a little bit more concrete feeling about this one in the shader. So the next tutorial is gonna be only a shader. So you can add some ambient occlusion here, or how much moss you want on it, you know. Or if you want something else, I don't know, it could be possibly want to be on top of it, sand maybe. Yeah, that could be. So thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.